The late summer sun shimmered across the glassy surface of Willow Pond, painting my small cabin in hues of gold. I'd moved to this tucked-away corner of Pineview, a quiet town in northern Vermont, to escape the grind of Boston's city noise. The plan was simple: mornings fishing, afternoons tinkering with the cabin, evenings on the porch with nothing but the hum of crickets and the lapping water. But on this particular afternoon in July 2024, peace was the last thing I was getting. I was up on the roof, tightening the final bolts on my new solar panel array, when the crunch of tires on gravel cut through the quiet. A car door slammed, sending a flock of sparrows scattering from the nearby willows. Then came the voice, sharp, commanding, like it was born to make heads turn. What in the hell is this? I turned, wrench still in hand, to see Margaret Voss, the head of the Willow Pond Homeowners Association, storming across my lawn like she was about to arrest me herself. Her eyes were narrowed to slits, her manicured finger jabbing at my roof. She wore a tailored gray blazer and a wide-brimmed hat that screamed authority, but mostly just made her look like she was auditioning for a country club presidency. "You can't just throw those panels up without HOA approval," she snapped, her voice loud enough to carry across the pond. "They're an eyesore, and they violate our community standards." I set the wrench down, slow and deliberate. "Margaret, this is my property. The panels are for my power, and there's nothing in the bylaws that says." She cut me off, pulling out her phone like it was a loaded gun. "I'm calling the sheriff. You'll regret this." I figured she was bluffing, but 10 minutes later, a sheriff's cruiser rolled up my driveway. Deputy Claire Thompson stepped out, adjusting her cap, while Margaret charged toward her like she'd just found her personal savior. "Thank God you're here," Margaret said, her tone dripping with righteous indignation. "This man's breaking HOA rules and ruining our property values. Those panels need to come down now." Claire glanced at me, then at the panels, then back at Margaret. "Ma'am, are you saying he's breaking a law?" "Yes," Margaret huffed. "HOA rules." Claire's voice stayed calm but firm. "Those aren't laws, ma'am. If the installation meets county codes, there's nothing I can do." Margaret froze, her mouth opening, but no words coming out. Then, to my shock, her eyes welled up, and she started crying right there in my driveway, her perfect composure crumbling. But before I could process it, Claire turned to me and said something that made my jaw drop and Margaret's tears flow faster. "Mr. Ellis, I checked the county records on my way over. Your permits are solid, but there's a notation about a prior complaint on this lot. Someone's been watching you for a while." 3 weeks earlier, life at Willow Pond was a lot quieter. I'd bought the cabin to leave behind the city's chaos, trading honking horns for the rustle of leaves. The HOA hadn't been on my radar. My place sat at the far end of the pond, hidden by pines, so I thought I'd fly under their rules. But Margaret had other plans. Her first visit was a welcome that felt more like an inspection, pointing out my uneven mailbox and the overgrown shrubs. The second time, she showed up with a highlighted copy of the HOA guidelines, circling supposed violations. I played nice, trimming the shrubs, but that only seemed to egg her on. Then a storm hit, knocking out power for 3 days. While neighbors griped about spoiled food, I started researching solar panels. They'd keep my lights on, cut my bills, and mean no more outages when a branch fell on a line. I checked Vermont's solar rights law, got my permits, and hired a crew. The day they arrived, I caught Margaret lingering near my driveway, eyeing the truck full of equipment, her lips pursed tight. She didn't say a word then, but I knew trouble was brewing. By the time Deputy Claire showed up that July afternoon, Margaret's campaign was in full swing. Her tears dried fast, replaced by a steely glare as she stomped back to her SUV. Claire tipped her cap a real Stetson, because this was rural Vermont, and warned me to keep my paperwork handy. "She's not done," Claire said. "Persistent types like her don't quit easy." I nodded, patting the folder of permits on my porch. "Got it covered." 3 days later, I was sipping coffee, watching mist curl over the pond, when Margaret's minivan crept by. 2 women sat with her, both clutching clipboards, scribbling notes. They didn't get out, just stared at my cabin like it was a crime scene. I waved, all friendly-like. "Morning, ladies. Need something?" Margaret lowered her sunglasses with theatrical flair. "We're assessing the neighborhood's visual harmony," she said, spitting the words like they were law. "Your panels disrupt it." I bit back a laugh. "Hope the board appreciates your dedication." She blinked, clearly expecting a fight, then drove off slow, like she was leading a funeral procession. A week later, a 3-page HOA letter arrived, stamped with Margaret's flourished signature. It cited a bylaw about holiday decorations comparing my panels to inflatable snowmen and demanded I remove them or face $500 daily fines. I laughed, then drafted a response, quoting Vermont's solar rights law, which barred HOAs from banning panels outright. I sent it certified mail, just to be sure. At the community dock that weekend, Margaret was rallying neighbors, gesturing toward my cabin. When I approached, the group went silent. "Hey, Nathan," said Greg, a guy I'd fished with once. "We're just talking about your panels." Margaret crossed her arms. "Some of us care about property values." Greg shrugged. "They look fine to me. And if they keep your power on, that's a win." Another neighbor, Lisa, piped up. "I've been thinking about getting some myself for my medical equipment." Margaret's jaw tightened, and she stormed off. 2 nights later, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "You'll regret this." I ignored it, but the next morning, I woke to voices outside tight, official ones. A bright orange paper was taped to my door. "Stop work order." A man in a yellow vest stood in my driveway, claiming the HOA had halted my unapproved project. Margaret watched from the road, smirking. I pointed at the paper. "This isn't from the county." The man shifted. "I'm HOA compliance." Before I could argue, Claire's cruiser pulled up. She peeled the paper off, scanned it, and handed it to me. "This has no legal weight," she said. "HOAs can't issue stop orders. County permits are clear." She turned to the vest guy. "Leave, or we'll have a different talk." He scurried off. Margaret's smirk vanished. That night, my panels were vandalized. 2 were smashed with rocks, glass cracked, but holding. I called Claire, who documented it, and urged me to get cameras. By noon, I had 4 installed, synced to my phone. But the threats didn't stop. A dead fish appeared on my porch with a nailed note. "Next time, it's not the pond that loses." My stomach churned, but I snapped a photo and sent it to Claire. Then came the fence. Margaret's crew arrived with lumber and mesh, building a cedar wall on HOA land to block my panels from viewing my lake view entirely. Greg called it a prison yard. He dug up old bylaws, revealing the fence needed a board vote and 2 weeks' notice to members. There'd been neither. I sent a certified letter to the HOA and Treasurer Ellen Carter, demanding meeting minutes. Ellen texted me that night. "Come by at 6. I've got something you need to see." Her house was pristine, her living room smelling of lavender. She slid a binder across her coffee table HOA records. "No vote on the fence," she said. "And the maintenance budget? Tripled. All to Margaret's cousin's company. No bids, no approval." I photographed every page minutes, expenses, checks. This wasn't just about my panels anymore. It was about Margaret's abuse of power. I emailed the evidence to my lawyer, the county auditor, and Channel 7's Sarah Miles. That night, another panel was smashed. I caught 2 hooded figures on camera, one with spray paint, one with a crowbar. My floodlights sent them running, and I called Claire. The footage was clear enough to see a face. Sarah aired it the next day, framing it as a battle over solar rights and HOA overreach. Neighbors flooded my phone with support. Greg started a petition to recall Margaret. The HOA meeting was packed. I played the footage, showed the records, and called out Margaret's violations. The room erupted when someone recognized one of the vandals, her nephew. Ellen confirmed the financial misconduct. Greg's petition gained signatures on the spot. Margaret's gavel couldn't silence the crowd. 2 weeks later, she lost the presidency in a landslide. Ellen took over. The fence came down, my panels were repaired, and a new bylaw protected solar installations. On a sunny August afternoon, I sat on my porch, beer in hand, the pond sparkling before me. Greg stopped by, grinning. "Feels like we took the neighborhood back." I nodded. It's not just the panels. It's knowing we're neighbors again, not pawns. But here's where it gets messy. Was I right to escalate this to the media and the courts, or did I make it personal when I could have compromised? Should Margaret have been given a chance to back down, or was exposing her the only way to stop her? And what would you do if someone tried to control your home like that? Drop your thoughts below. I want to hear your take. If this story hit you, give it a like, share it, and subscribe for more real fights like this one.